To fund her final war against Rome, Cleopatra mobilized the full resources of the world's richest kingdom, liquidating a fortune built over generations. In July 2026, Elon Musk's personal wealth grew more in a single day than the entire treasury of an ancient superpower. It raises a question about the actual math of an empire. How much was the last pharaoh actually worth? And how does a lifetime of absolute royal power compare to the daily fluctuations of a modern stock ticker? Comparing these two ledgers shows how the process of building a fortune has shifted from controlling physical territory to the movement of digital equity. Cleopatra's wealth was built on a geographic monopoly. Egypt controlled the Nile, which provided the most fertile farmland in the ancient world and allowed her to dominate trade across the Mediterranean. The Egyptian economy operated as a royal monopoly. The state claimed ownership of the harvests, the papyrus, and the luxury goods that the rest of the world wanted to buy. Running this system required immense bureaucratic oversight. Even a simple change, like a farmer planting an olive garden instead of barley, required explicit permission from the central government. To an average elite of the time, 15 talents of silver was a massive annual income. Cleopatra could easily spend many, many times that exact amount just on the guest list for a single lavish banquet. When historians adjust these holdings for inflation, they estimate her lifetime fortune at between $95 and $135 billion. This reserve was the product of decades of absolute rule, extracted slowly from the physical output of the land and its people. In the 21st century, extreme wealth is no longer stored in a physical vault. It exists as shares in a company. By mid-2026, Elon Musk's net worth reached $712 billion, several times Cleopatra's peak treasury. Because this wealth is tied to the stock market, it is constantly in motion. Billions appear or vanish based on daily stock prices. On one specific day in July, the ticker added $32.1 billion in 24 hours. During a peak earlier that year, the same market volatility briefly pushed his total past the $1 trillion mark. Even excluding those record jumps, Musk's fortune grew by an average of $2.5 billion a day across 2026. At that normalized daily rate, it takes exactly 5 weeks to generate the equivalent of Cleopatra's entire lifetime treasure. This 5-week accumulation happens without a single ship being launched or a single tax collector beater sent into the field. It demonstrates how modern financial systems generate extreme value, independently of physical labor or the slow passage of harvest seasons. Cleopatra's fortune was tangible. It was gold, grain, and land, assets that had to be physically measured and taxed. Musk's fortune is intangible. It is an abstract number tied to market sentiment and the perceived value of industries that didn't exist a generation ago. Ancient wealth required physical protection. It was guarded by stone walls, standing armies, and monumental architecture designed to project power. Today, that same scale of wealth moves without friction, requiring nothing more than a digital market to remain open. One era required a river, an empire, and a lifetime on the throne. The other requires an idea, equity, and a global exchange. Cleopatra spent 20 years commanding a superpower to build her treasure. Today, the market can match that value in 5 weeks. The story has shifted from how much a ruler can own to how fast the world is now able to grow.